Okay, so my computer's telling me it's time, and I'm going to start. My name, just in case any of you don't know, is Altazar Rossiter. I'm not going to go into a long life story. I'm going to talk about a couple of things about my work which are important to the practice that I'm going to give you now. Now, what I have to say is that I really appreciate all the comments that you're putting in the comments box, but I am not going to be able to respond to them. Not in this moment. Maybe later when I check in afterwards. Okay. So what I do is I kind of help people to connect with the spiritual intelligence that inhabits them and really wants to guide their lives. And I do that through a process of what I call intuitive narrative protocols. And those people that have worked with me for a while, I just call them protocols. And this is a way of identifying patterns and programs that have been running in our energy system and in our bodies for a long, long time, and clearing the trauma that they create and shifting our own energy so that we're able to ground into our higher self, into the truth of who we are. Okay. And what I want to say about this is we have to speak these aloud. And this is something that always kind of challenges people when they come to the work new. There's a number of reasons for doing this, but just very, very briefly, speaking aloud brings your life force and your intent into this 3D dimension, this 3D reality. And if you kind of continue to operate in the thought realm, you're not actually in the physical. So you're making things real, and you're using your breath, your life force to do it. And I don't really want to say any more than that because there's a lot for me to get through here. What we're going to do is I'm going to talk you through a process of reprogramming your DNA. And there's lots of work being done on this. There's been deep Russian research done. And of course, you know, it's world famous by Bruce Lipton, the biology of belief, and all the work, the body of work that he's done in identifying that the DNA can be changed. It's not cast in stone. Okay, so that's the basis. Now, what I'm also going to do is in the process, in the practice, like the protocol practice, I am going to ask you to say the words I say. Now, you can play the video back and do it in your own time, or you can do it with me here in the moment. I'm going to use the term divine intelligence because we partner with divine intelligence, but I want to make it very clear that divine intelligence is not some special being outside of you that's going to come and save you. It's you. It's the part of you that you're not always conscious of. It's the part of you that is continually urging you to grow into the full truth of who you are and express it in the world. And it's an energy that has an intelligence which is much greater than the intellect, but it is still you. So when you're talking to it and having this kind of dialogue, you're gathering that energy of you, your higher self, your I am presence, however you like to call it, but that's what we're talking to. And, you know, Bruce Lipton's work also is about talking to the DNA, having a conversation with it. We're actually going to have a conversation with our divine intelligence to get that to intervene. I say a lot more about this in some of my other work and broadcasts. And you can find out about that work by checking out my website, which is just my name, altazarrossiter.com, or the Bridgeman website, because pretty much all the work I do these days is through the Bridgeman organization, and most of it is in the Netherlands. And that's bridgeman.nl. Many of you will know that already. Okay, so now what I want to say is a little bit about what's going on in the world right now. And the way I see it is that the psychoenergetic field of human consciousness is currently saturated with the vibration of fear. This is generated by the cultural consensus reaction to the spread of a bioenergetic organism that's been labeled the COVID-19 coronavirus. People are getting sick, people are dying from the conditions created by this organism. And that may have a relationship to the environment that prevails where it's most virulent, because it produces lots of fear, and fear is a low vibration energy, and it depresses the immune system. That's just a well-known fact. So the mainstream cultural consensus, what I often call the matrix, is being infused with information that is increasingly gloomy, and it's reinforced by governmental predictions and restrictions. And these continue to fuel panic responses in large populations, despite assurances that there's no need to panic. And it's possible that everything publicized in the mainstream media is accurate. It's also possible that the entire situation is a smokescreen for something else. And many situations are playing out behind that smokescreen. But none of that actually matters in the personal. It's all noise that takes your focus away from the flow of your own well-being. What matters is how you react in yourself to the information that you see and hear, and how you react to the reactions of others, their projections, their fear, their judgment. Because your reaction is the energy that you contribute to the collective without even realizing that that is what you're doing. So I've created a practice, a protocol to support a level of psychoenergetic self-isolation from the collective that can at the same time influence the collective and begin to shift that. There's a few points here I want to make very clear. First, remember, divine intelligence, when we use that term, when I use it, it's the non-physical aspect of you, your I am presence, your soul, your higher self. It's important to speak aloud because you put your energy through your breath and your voice into your intent. You can repeat this practice, this protocol, as many times as you choose. It will help you to anchor more deeply into yourself. There may be emotional fallout from this practice over the next few days. So you need to practice self-care. And what I always tell people when they're working with me in my mystery school or my workshops, my grounding souls energy workshops, is you need to drink lots of water, take rest when you need it, and eat protein, because protein helps to restructure the DNA. And it's, you're building your cells, you're changing your cellular structure when you do this. So you need protein to do that. Whether you choose animal protein is a matter for you, but I know many people would prefer not to. Another thing is, leave the TV alone, except for finding out what you need to do practically, or watching Netflix while you're actually stuck at home doing nothing. And distance yourself from any opinions about what's going on, especially the noise on the internet. Okay, now this protocol is not a cure for the COVID-19 coronavirus. This protocol is not a substitute for any conventional medical practice or procedure. And we have to be very clear about that. But it is an energy process, which means it's working with your energy system, your fields, and your aura. And what you have to remember, and a lot of people don't recognize this, your energy field actually exists within your body as well as outside it. Your physical body is actually the densest part of your energy field. It's your physical system, but it actually exists within the field that is you. And that field exists within your physical body. So, as I said earlier, you can find out a bit more about my work if you follow my Facebook page, check out my website, which is altazarrossiter.com. Check out the Bridgeman website, bridgeman.nl, and sign up for my occasional newsletter, and then you'll find out what I'm doing, where I'm doing it, and the occasional event that I do on the internet. Some of those are free. Some of them are a bit more in depth, and I have a little program. So what I'm going to do now is lead you through this protocol, and I'm going to slow my speech down so that you can follow me. And just to remind you, this is live now, but as I understand it, the video should be available on Facebook almost indefinitely. So you can find it, should be able to find it on my page or on the kind of professional page, the public page that I use, called Developing Spiritual Intelligence. Okay, so if you're ready, I'd like you to take a breath and just bring yourself into yourself. Let your breathing slow down and relax. Have an open body posture if you can, like both feet on the ground, and sitting with your arms folded is not a good idea. So, hopefully you're in an open and receptive place, because your own energy needs to flow. You're going to give your own divine intelligence permission to work with you. Okay, so we begin. And you say this: divine intelligence, partner with me now to assist me in detaching from the collective consciousness of fear that prevails in the psycho-energetic environment around me. That the collective fear resonates with my own inherent patterns which may relate to unresolved issues in my personal history, and that the effects of those may need to be neutralised to facilitate this process of detachment. Where this is true for me. Work with every relevant aspect of my being. Work with my physical body, my emotional body, my mind and mental body, and my energy system, to clear all patterns, all programs, all collective thought forms, all cultural imprints that obligate me to comply with mainstream behaviour and clear any other devices or implants that tie me into the collective through a paradigm of fear and which undermine my personal sovereignty. Divine intelligence. Work multi-dimensionally, trans-dimensionally, interdimensionally, and hyperdimensionally. Work especially to clear all resonances that I have, which connect me with any human collective fields that resonate in sympathy with the endemic fear, panic, and paranoia of society in general, especially in relation to the phenomenon labeled COVID-19 coronavirus. Divine intelligence. Work with the quantum innate intelligence of my DNA coding and clear all bioenergetic triggers and responses that cause my system to entrain to the collective fear vibration. And where it's appropriate, clear my cellular memory, my ancestral memory, and my Akashic record of any regressive elements, re-establish the dominance of the collective fear in my personal existential paradigm. Divine intelligence, infuse me with divine love and with divine light at the optimum frequencies to dismantle and dissolve every thread and trace of this programming, this conditioning, and any associated subliminal control system. Erase all the mindsets and mental body strategies that support and sustain any of this in me. Melt away all the anxiety, all the tension and trauma any of this has ever generated in me through exploiting my fight, flight, auto responses. Transmute all these energies into divine love. Reconfigure them and reintegrate them to support my connection with the flow of my well-being, with the truth I am, and the expression of that truth in the most appropriate way for me. Do all this now with grace and ease. Thank you. And so it is. So that's it, and I hope that's going to help many of you to be more present in yourself, more aware of how you get pulled off by the matrix, by the fear that's in the culture, that's in the field around us, so that you can use this protocol to come back to yourself. You may need a bit of integration time after listening to this or after doing this process. As I said earlier, drink water, rest. If you get emotional, let the emotion come out. Because very often we've been taught to keep our emotions bottled up, but all that means is we keep stuff in. Emotional release is a way of letting go, letting go of stuff that no longer supports us. So very often when you're in emotional release, what you feel is what's leaving. And as I said earlier, repeat this as many times as you choose and use it to ground into your divine brilliance.